Hello there. So I hope you're all doing fine at home. Now, the next chapter that we're going to study is file handling. But before we actually start file handling, I want to tell you a little bit about stream classes in C++. Now, what exactly are these stream classes and how are they useful in file handling? Have we already started or have we already learned some stream classes? Yes, we have. So today, I'm just going to talk to you about what exactly are stream classes, right? Now, before we actually get into the stream classes, it's very easy to understand what exactly is a stream. Now, the literal meaning of a stream is a river, right? A small river is called as a stream. Now, the same concept can be applied even to the stream classes in C++. Now, we know that the river consists of water, and the main characteristics of a river is that the water flows, right? So there is a flow of water, and also the flow of water is only in one direction. Now that is very important. The water flows in one direction. Now if you look at this from the programming point of view, there are certain requirements that we have wherein we require the flow of data, right? Now, you know there are two scenarios in which we require the flow of data. Now, like a river, we also need scenarios where in place of the water, we have data that flows. All right, let's look at an example. Now, suppose here is your CPU. Now, this is your central processing unit where all your computations and all your instructions are being processed. Now, in order to process anything in a program, we need data. We need an input data. So where do you get the input data from? Well, no rocket science again. Input data comes from the keyboard, right? So we have a keyboard where we enter the value, and that value flows all the way into the CPU, correct? Fine. Now this is a stream for us, and what flows in the stream is nothing but data. Now, another property from the river is that when we talk about the flow of data in the stream, it is only one direction. So here, the direction of the flow of data is this. Absolutely fine. Now, when you process that input and when you have something called as an output, you need to display that onto your screen, right? So how do you display it onto the screen? So what the CPU does is, again, it takes that data and the data flows in the opposite direction and it goes and displays it on a monitor, right? So there's a monitor. So in this case, the flow of data is opposite to this flow here, right? The flow of data is this way. Now, if you look at this, it's very clear that there is a stream between the CPU and the keyboard, and there is a stream between the CPU and the monitor, and also it's very clearly defined as the flow of the direction of the flow of data. Now, this stream that you find between the CPU and the output device and the CPU and the input device, these are managed by special classes which are called as stream classes, right? And the flow of data between the stream classes are done using objects of the stream classes, right? So I hope everybody's clear with whatever I'm trying to explain here, because now I'm going to move on to the technical side of it. Okay, so now let's look at it from the perspective of C++ and how exactly the stream classes help us. Now, we have used a stream class in our code, and I think everybody must be aware of that, and that is Iostream, right? We know that we have used stream classes because before you write a program, you declare a header file called as Iostream. And why did we use this Iostream class? Now, we use this Iostream class to use these two objects. One was cin and the other one was cout. So why did we use cin and cout? Well, we used cin to accept an input from a standard I/O device. What is an I/O device? An input-output device. So in order to accept an input from a keyboard, we used this CIN object. And in order to display, or in order to take the output from the CPU and display it on the standard output device, which is a monitor, we used this object, right? Now, because these are objects which are actually creating or helping us in accepting the data, or sending the data to a standard input-output device, that is the reason we have this I/O, which is an input-output stream. So the connection between a monitor and a keyboard with the CPU and the transfer or the flow of data is through a special class called Iostream. Now, before we actually get into Iostream, Iostream is a derived class. So actually, the cin object does not belong to Iostream, but it belongs to something called as a class which is called as Iostream. So you have a class which is Iostream class, and cin belongs to the Iostream class. Similarly, there is another class as Ostream. Now, what exactly is, sorry, I just made a mistake here. So it's Ostream, right? So let me just write it again. So it's Ostream. Okay, Ostream means output stream. So cout belongs to this Ostream. Okay, now for simplicity, since we have to take care of or handle using two stream classes, what C++ has done is it has created them as a base class, and it has derived the Iostream class from these two classes, right? And since this is a derived class, both the cin as well as the cout objects are available in the Iostream class, and that is how we use. So remember, the cin object is actually an object of the Iostream class, which is the input stream, and the cout is an object which is actually of the Ostream class, which is the output stream. And we have a derived class called as Iostream from the Iostream and the Ostream class, and the cin and cout objects are both belong, and we are able to use them just by using the Iostream class, or just by including the Iostream class in the code. All right, now let's look at the syntax of cin and cout and understand exactly how we are using both those two. All right, so now how do we use cin? Now this is the syntax for cin, right? So this is cin and this is cout, right? All of us are aware of this. Now the first question which must be coming to your mind is why we are not using, if they are objects, why we are not using a dot operator. Now the reason why we are not using a dot operator is because we are using these operators as overloaded operators. Okay, so if you remember, we had done something as a plus b, where we had overloaded the plus operator. In this case also, we had a as an object and b as an object, but we were not using dot operator here because this plus was overloaded. So what was the actual meaning of this statement here? The meaning was there was an object a, right, which was invoking the function plus, and in that plus we were passing b as an argument. You remember this? Right. Similarly, here in these cases, for example, let's take cout. We have an object which is cout. Now this is a built-in object. This object is invoking this operator, right? and we are passing whatever values or whatever arguments you enter here, whether you are printing something or you want to write a variable name here, we are passing everything into this. Similarly, the cin also works that way, right? So now it must be clear that why we are not using a dot operator, because both these operators here, I'll tell you exactly what these operators are called later on, because I don't want to confuse you right now. So just remember that both these operators here are used in the context of operator overloading, right? So remember that actual meaning of this is here. We have used these operators as an overloaded operators, and that is the reason why we don't use cin dot. But these cin and cout are both objects of the stream classes. So I hope you are clear about the usage of cin and cout, and also I hope you are clear about why we use the Iostream header when we have to use the cin and cout. And another important point is that Iostream is a derived class which derives from Iostream and Ostream, right? Now please go through this video and try and understand this concept, because this is what we are going to use in file handling. We are going to bring about new stream classes there. These classes which we discussed today, Iostream and Ostream, these are classes for, they are the stream classes for standard input and output. So they are the Iostream classes. Similarly, if we have to have a connection with the file, that means if your CPU is not connecting to the input device, or it is not connecting to an output device, but it is connecting to a file, then we need to have a special stream objects for that. And those objects, special stream objects as well as special stream classes. And those classes that we use for working with files are called as file streams, right? So we're going to look at a file stream and how we can use the classes which are used with file streams, and how we can create objects out of it, and how we can do the various operations on a file. But before that, it's important to understand what are stream classes, and also how cin and cout are used. And they are not user defined objects, but these objects are already created with a specific purpose of sending and receiving data from a keyboard or a standard input output device. Right? So I'll leave you here today. Go through this video, and then in the next video we're going to start file handling. So take care, stay safe. Bye.